everyone, I'm Caroline and today we're going to make 5 Christmas trees and the base is going to be from any random bit of thin card or cardboard. Right, no time to chat, let's get on with the crafting. Right, let's get stuck in. I got 3 different types of cardboard here and I'm going to show you how I make a Christmas tree base. Now you can cut a circle and then cut the circle in half or even in thirds if you want a very slim tree. And then you can fold it in on itself like that until you get to the base size you want. You can make it really small, you can make it really fat. I'm going to make it about that size. I think that's a nice friendly looking tree size. And then I'm going to staple there. You haven't got to staple. You can just glue gun, but I find it so much easier. And then you'll run a glue down there, pop it on, and wait for it to cool. When it's cool, level off your base. Make sure it sits properly. Another thing you can use is I've got this paper. It came from the middle of a roll of wrapping paper and you haven't got to cut it or anything if you don't want to at this stage. Fold your paper over till it comes to a point and then holding the top into a point as well as you can, roll the bottom. And if you're using a thinner card and you want it to have a little bit more substance, go around a few times. Snip it off and then rejig it until it's how you want it. And then I'm going to glue it. And a little bob of glue there as well, why not? And then put your hand in and push it outwards. And level it off again. My point came undone, but don't worry about that because we're going to put something at the top. And I've got this piece of cardboard. I have no idea where they came from, but I like to use this sort of cardboard if I can because it's got like a rougher back. So if you're going to glue things to it, other ones I've made have been with an orange paper as you saw, and they're still quite shiny on the outside. So gluing's much more difficult. And then just make yourself a cone. It does take a bit of practice if you're going to try this idea and not cut a circle first. Pop some hot glue, roll it on. And again, straighten it off. So now I've got a selection. Look at this. I've been busy making trees. I've got lots of different shapes and sizes. And now I'm going to get on with decorating these trees. So let's get on with it. Let's start with tree number 1. So for tree number 1, I'm going to be gluing something onto it. So I'm going to use this rough surface tree. And I'm going to be using some of these moulds. I got these from Amazon. If you pop over to my Amazon shop, I'll pop these into there. There's a link in the description below. And I'll probably put a new section on my shop called Mould It. And these will be in that section there. Pop some talc or some cornstarch, corn flour into a little tub and then brush it onto your mould. You don't have to do this, but if you don't do it, it's probably going to stick. Get your clay in sort of the shape you want it to be in. It just makes things a little bit easier. Pop it into place and then push it into the mould really firmly. Then level off the back so that it'll sit nice and flat on your Christmas tree. Oops, pulled a bit too much out there, but it doesn't matter. Pop another bit of clay in. Like that. And then ta-da! And I need to make lots and lots of these. So I'll get on with making lots and get back to you when I've finished. As you can see, I've been very busy and I'm about to make the last mould. I'm using this pretty curly whirly swirly one. Oh, we ran out just before we got to the end. Pop the last bit on. Now smooth it off. And now, the most satisfying part. Look at that. Now just trim the edges. Now if you're going to be making these to sell, I would really recommend you spend a lot of time neatening up your little clay moulds before you glue them on, because you need to be putting out a professional product. I'm making this purely for my own fun, so it doesn't matter, I can just enjoy the process. Because some of my leaves are a little bit suspect, but we're not even going to look at that part. And now I need to clean up before we go on with the next bit. Now to get our cone tree, and we're going to start gluing these onto the cone tree. I've made extras, 2 reasons. 1, some can get damaged when you're using them, and 2, I've then got some extras then that I can use on other projects, as long as it's a flat item. If it's a curvy item, it won't work because they're going to dry. I'm using this tacky glue to attach this to the bottom of my cone. I usually use wood glue for this, so this is a bit of an experiment for me. I was hoping that this would actually dispense a decent amount of glue, but I have a lot of trouble finding a glue dispenser that actually works. So now I'm going to attach this to the bottom of my cone. And I made an extra bit, but I've just realised I probably didn't make enough. Let's try. Oh, we might make it if we stretch it a little bit. I don't recommend that. But needs must. And then smooth it around, and you can see where there's no glue. If only this glue would come out, I would squirt some down in there, but no, it's clogged up already. And I can't take the top off because it's stuck to the top, to the bottle, so I think we'll give up on that and try a different glue. Let's try my Aleene's tacky glue. It doesn't like coming out either. Make sure it's level with the bottom. This is going to be around the back of the tree, so I'm not too worried, but I would like the clay to at least join up. So I'm just going to use this little tool. I can put a link to these in my Amazon store. They're not the best quality. I bought these early on when I first started making moulds because I wanted to try something without committing lots and lots of money. So I'm quite happy with them. I'll keep using them for the moment. But if you want a better finish, sometimes the ends, I got one of them, the end spins, things like that. So they're not perfect, but they're a very good starter tool. Make sure that it is stuck all the way around. I'm going to use this little brush to get some glue right down in there. Now you can put glue all over the clay before you put it on. What I found, if you do that, you end up putting too much glue, and then your piece of clay slides around, it droops and slides down whatever it is you're making, and then you end up in a right mess. So for me, I'd rather be sparing and take my time over it. But do it however it works best for you. There is no one size fits all with most crafts. We all have our own little techniques and our own things that work for us. Don't worry if this is a little bit too intense for you because you don't have the time, because we all have different time constraints on our lives. The rest of the trees are much faster to make. This is why I thought I'd get this one done out of the way, and then I know how much time I've got for the rest of filming, because this is taking quite a while, which I expected. But it is such fun to do. You just, at the end of this, it looks so wonderful that you love it and you'll be glad you did it. Now we're going to add some embellishments to the top section. And this is all purely individual on what you want to do. I'm never quite sure until I actually start what I'm going to do with this sort of thing. And learning on the job, I think this is possibly the best way to do it. Put a little bit of glue on the back of your piece and then brush it on. I'd love it if you could let me know the answer to this question. I'm making videos and I put some music on, thinking it's nice to brighten things up a little bit, but some people possibly don't like the music. They like all talking. Other people may not like talking and they just love all music. I'd love to know what you think. Obviously, I can't please everybody, but I will take your comments into consideration. What would you rather? More talking? Less talking? No talking? All talking? Just let me know in the comments below, because I definitely like to find out what it is that you, my lovely viewers, like. So there we have it. This is now substantially heavier than it was when we started. Just going to do a little bit of finishing off with pushing the edges on, and then we're going to get on to the next section. Now I'm going to paint the whole of the tree and the embellishments with a cream, it's Rustin's Chalky Finish Paint in Kenwood Cream. This is a beautiful rich cream colour. I'm painting it generously around the edges, but then making sure I take the excess off the actual mouldings because it hides the pretty patterns. And you've done all that work, and you've done all that hard work for nothing if you don't make sure everybody can see your pretty patterns. But we're going to do something after this that will really change the look, and you will definitely see any pattern that is available to see. This, again, is another time-consuming thing. It's not like painting something flat. It's going to take you forever to make sure you get some paint in all those little cracks and crevices and holes and dents and bumps. But it's a good excuse to turn on some Christmas carols and get yourself in the festive mood. I don't know, maybe you like Christmas carols, maybe you like modern Christmas music. Are you into the 70s? Is that the sort of thing you like? You know, my husband really loves Slade and Wizard, all those from the 70s. I'm a little bit eclectic. I like listening to Michael Bublé, who does some lovely Christmas songs. I like listening to Christmas carols. I like some of the modern ones. I particularly liked Elton John and Ed Sheeran's one last year. Thought that was very positive because we'd all been through various different, shall we say, issues. And I thought it was a very hopeful song. So that's all painted up. And now we're going to use this Rust-Oleum Furniture Finishing Wax in dark. This really does look dark. Look at that. It looks black, doesn't it? Get yourself a nice soft cloth. Well, it hasn't got to be a nice cloth, but nicely soft. I don't think you're ever going to be using this cloth for anything else. And then start to work the wax very lightly over the whole of the tree. And I think it makes it look 5-10 times as expensive as it did when it was just painted white. I love doing this sort of thing, gilding things, putting stains on things. It's really fulfilling. Sometimes I think, oh, that looks good without doing anything else. And then I do this and I think, oh yes, it was definitely the right decision. And don't panic about getting it everywhere. The whole point is you want little bits of white showing through. Now hold that there. Watch this. Oh, look at that. I just love using this. For me, that is a visual delight. So that is looking fabulous, but I've got one more thing to do to this tree. I've got this lone dangly earring, or earring, depending on how you say it. So I'm going to take off this bit. And now I'm left with this bit, which is just a drop of pearl. I don't think it's a real pearl. And I'm going to put this on top of the tree. I didn't think a star would suit it, but I thought it needed something. And I've also got a bit of a hole there, so it's always good to fill the hole. So now, out with the glue gun. Pop it in the hole and then hold it up straight until it sets. And look at that. Oh, I absolutely love this. It looks so expensive, so high-end. And it's made from a bit of cardboard. Right, let's see what this looks like up on my display. this tree, I'm going to use these pom-poms. I got these from a thrift store. It was on a dream catcher. It was knotted up and looked very grim, but I thought, well, I can use the pom-poms for something else. So I've got this many pom-poms, so I thought I'll use one of my smaller trees for this, because I don't want to run out, and I'm going to start with the bigger ones around the bottom, and then we can get smaller as we go to the top. And this is just a case of gluing them on with hot glue. Make sure you budge them up nicely, otherwise you'll have gaps and you'll see the white. Now you may decide you're happy with that. Make sure they're nice and squidged up if you don't want white gaps. Now chop the top off and glue my last yellow one there. And there's a bit of a gap, so I'm going to poke this little purple one in there as well. And look at that for a really fast and easy fun Christmas tree. I love it, and you can use any colour pom-poms. You can make your own. You can even make them all coordinating and just do an all pink one or an all yellow one. I've got hot glue everywhere. I'm just going to trim a few ends off this because they're a bit jagged. And let's see what this looks like up on my display. Christmas tree, I'm going to use this tube glitter. I took it out of some clear baubles because I didn't really like the look on it. I changed those up and kept this glitter. So I'm going to take this tree and I'm just going to cover it in the tube glitter. Coat a section of the tree with PVA glue. And then, oh, there we go, we can dip it in. Still need to throw some on. And to make sure it's got a really nice coating of this glitter all over it. Well, that was a brilliant idea. Do it in 2 sections so I wouldn't have to hold half of the tree that had just been done and move the glitter about. But now I'm ending up with glitter everywhere in my glue. Oh well, you'll live and learn. That's the beautiful thing with crafting. You really can't go wrong. If something like this happens, just work around it, and it's not a big workaround for this. It doesn't matter really. I'm going to put more glue on anyway. Do you like your crafts all pre-planned so you know exactly what you're doing? Or do you like just going at it and seeing what happens? I'm more a try it out person. As long as you know the basic techniques, then that works well. And I like the surprise of seeing how it comes out and seeing how much inspiration I get along the way. Some more in. I've got plenty here. And I'm making a mess. Note to self, get a bigger tray. I've got this little Christmas decoration. I picked this up in a charity shop for 10p. It's always worth checking their Christmas bauble box. You never know what you'll find. I want to take the jump ring off and then put some glue around the bottom point and push it in the top. So that's what it looks like. Now it's still wet. I need to let this dry and let's go see what it looks like up on my display. For this craft, I'm using this slightly bigger tree. And I've got a jar of these petals. I picked these up for £1. And I don't know how many gazillion I have. There are lots of them. All these come apart individually. Now you can use any petals. You can buy yourself some cheap florals from Dollar Tree or Hobbycraft. Well, Hobbycraft isn't very cheap. Pound Shop, things like that. And take the petals off and use that. Or you can cut yourself some petal shapes. If you've got a cutter machine, you can cut these very easily. And I've also got, my secret ingredient for the top. Oh, you'll see what that is in a few minutes. I thought they were thick petals when I had them. They're not. They're just loads and loads of layers, which takes a little bit of time to separate them all out. But it's worth doing because otherwise you end up sticking 3 or 4 layers on. Now I just got to cover my cone in these petals. Simple enough. I'm leaving a little bit of overhang on the bottom of these petals because I want them to sit like that so it hides the bottom of the cone too. Now I'm going to try chatting to you a little as I do this. My problem is when I start to work my voice tends to go like this because I'm concentrating and you can't hear me. So I'll do my best to speak loud even though I'm trying to think about the next thing I'm doing. Which is very basic on this, it's just going round and round and round until eventually you reach the top. Again, not one of those crafts that is very fast, but is very effective when you finished it. What's your favourite sort of craft? Do you like really quick and easy? Do you like quick but with a bit of a challenge? Do you like long with a bit of a challenge? Or do you like really challenging projects? Something that you can really get your teeth into and could take days to finish? For me, I don't really know. Sometimes I want to do some really quick things. Sometimes I want to take my time, switch off for a couple of hours, and thoroughly enjoy the process of making something. And the most important person to please when you're doing craft is yourself. And now we'll just step up a layer, but you can already see how lovely this is going to look. Right, let's carry on. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Now, if you'd like to do this, but you need some tips for speeding it up, I've been thinking as I'm doing this, and I think there are a few ways. One, you could use bigger petals, so you wouldn't need so many. 2, you could use really small petals, and then you could do more of a sprinkling job rather than a individually placing them. It wouldn't have quite the same effect, but it could be done. Have you got any ideas of how you could make this craft faster? It's great if you put it in the comments, and if other people check the comments, we can all learn from each other because there are a million things to learn with crafting. I don't think we'll ever know it all, but we all learn on our own individual basis, and so we all have different things we know. And so sometimes sharing that is a good thing. That is looking pretty spectacular, but it needs something on the top. And for that I'm going to use this. I got a jar full of pink feathers. So now I snip the top off and add 5 feathers into the hole using a bit of hot glue. And look at that, I absolutely love it. Now I'm in an even more flamboyant mood, so I'm going to add a few more feathers. Why not? And look at that. Is that flamboyant or is that flamboyant? I absolutely love it. Let's see what this looks like up on my display. This tree, I'm going to use this. I'm going to hot glue this to my tree. It's going to be very messy, and that seems to have been the theme of today's craft, is mess and untidiness. So I'm going to start at the bottom and using hot glue, glue it on as thickly as I need to make sure there isn't much white showing through. I don't think we'll manage to make it all disappear, but that's not too much of a problem. I love the rugged, rustic look on these wood shavings. There's an elastic band in the middle. Then slowly work your way up the tree. This isn't an exact science by any means. Just a matter of blobbing it on. And have you noticed today how reserved I've been? I've made 5 Christmas trees and not a side of a bow. I do love a bow, but I thought let's go for something without bows. Are you like me? Do you love bows? I've asked so many questions today. When I get the answers, I'm going to be trying to figure out which question you're answering. I just love getting to know you all. Just feels like you're here at my desk with me when I craft, and so we're good friends. When you go to this point, you'll need to go around finding baldy bits, pop some glue in, and then pushing the wood shavings onto it. And also pulling the thicker blobs off. So when you think you've got it all covered, pull all your thicker blobs off, and then you'll find more baldy bits. But you might as well do this now rather than think, oh no, I don't want to do that. Bits will drop off forever, and then you'll be discovering little holes, and you'll have to keep taking it back to whatever your glue gun is to repair it. So it really is worth being vicious at this stage, getting in there and finding out all the loose bits. Right, now I've got a clearer idea of where I need to add some bits on. This is great fun. It's just like being back in nursery school. Blob it on everywhere. Look, there's a big baldy bit. We'll couple of blobs. Stick a wood in there. Push it down. Be careful at this point because unless you're wearing finger protectors, you could accidentally touch the glue and burn your fingers. And when you're all done, now you can give it a bit of a haircut. Just take off the really excessive bits. I quite like the tatty look. You can trim it down and get it really neat looking. But I want it to look a little bit crazy. I've got this little pick here. So I'm taking it apart because I want to use some of the bits on it. I'm going to make like a tree topper sort of thing. Rather than just put a star on or something like that. Because this is quite an unusual looking tree, and I think we'll put something a little different on the top. And then a few holly leaves too, just to give the topper a little bit more interest, because I don't think those little green ones are really big enough to go with the poinsettia. They're a bit small and insignificant. And you can now see the reason why I left this craft till last. The mess. It's going to take me ages to clean up. If you've got a pet that likes wood shavings, I don't know if any pets do like wood shavings, perhaps a goat, then you could let him come in and chew away on the wood shavings rather than clean them up. But I haven't got a goat or anything like that, so I'm going to have to clean this myself. So let's go see what this looks like up on my display. I hope you enjoyed those crafts. I loved making them, and I'm sure you will as well. Which ones are you going to make? Which was your favourite? I would love to know. And I am going to try learning on a community post how to put a poll in. And that way then you can all see which was the favourite, which was the most popular. Let me know if you're going to make one of those trees. Or several. If you've enjoyed the video, then please give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe because I've got lots more videos coming out before the big day. I'll see you all next time, but until then, don't forget, have fun. Bye.